Welcome back to another episode of Extreme Zillow Home Edition. This is the series where we go and do a walkthrough of Zillow homes together instead of doing it alone on our phones like we would every night anyway. And queued up this week, I've got a two-part video walking through this beautiful McMansion that was just built in Scottsdale, Arizona, not far from where my family lives in Mesa. So, without further ado, I'm going to jump right in. Please pardon the change in appearance. I had to re-record the intro because the microphone wasn't on when I did it originally. But do enjoy, do like the video, and do subscribe if you like this kind of content. Well, it's not a $22 million home. It's a $21.999999 million home in Scottsdale, Arizona. Why not just make it an even 22, you ask? I don't know. I mean, what do we got going on here? Is this a gas station? You probably have to own a chain of gas stations to even afford this house, so maybe you just get used to that pricing scheme. Or maybe you own a chain of grocery stores. They have to be in retail, right? And somebody said, oh, this home's worth about $22 million. And they were like, great, 21.999999. Nobody will ever notice. They think they're tricking people. What, it's like somebody's going to set a filter on Zillow for homes only below $22 million? Oh, God, I'm getting tired of doing the mental math. So let's just say it's an even $22 million, not 21.999999. The down payment is going to be $4.4 million, and your estimated monthly payment is going to be $94,000 a month, which, at my current income, I'll never be able to afford even when I'm dead. 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, 12,617 square feet. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Arizona, you might have heard of Scottsdale. Scottsdale's like the rich part of Arizona. It's fancy. There's a lot of equestrians there, if you know what I mean. And by that, I mean people who ride horses. And if you didn't know what the word equestrians meant, then you don't belong in Scottsdale. Who spring trains in Scottsdale? The Giants. The Cubs actually spring train in Mesa, but people who travel to spring training often stay in Scottsdale. It's a very popular vacation spot because rich people live there. And this is an example of a rich person who lives in Scottsdale. So we'll do a quick little overview of the lot first, as we should, right? So first we'll look at the lot lines. Okay, first thing that strikes me, your lot is kind of small. And if I were to own a lot in the Arizona mountains, which I don't, though I hail from Arizona. That's where my family lives. So I'm pretty familiar with what it's like there. If I were to own a large plot of land, I would want some hiking trails. They do have a little ravine here, which I suppose you could walk in, though it's unkempt. But I'd want a little bit bigger lot, and I would want to be able to walk up this mount here. And they can't do that. There's actually this really large swath of land, might be state land. They've just got this little teeny lot. By far the most expensive home in the area. And in true Scottsdale fashion, it's separated. I mean, just because you're not getting a big lot doesn't mean that you are close to your neighbors. There's no shortage of land in the valley, as they like to call it in Scottsdale. The valley of the sun. And this is smack dab in the northeast of the Valley of the Sun, okay? So I do like it. You're getting a lot of space from the neighbors. Bit of a compound here. I can't tell if they don't have a driveway or if this is from like when it was being constructed. I have to imagine it's from when it was being constructed. Yeah. So the satellite view is not up to date. They were still building, I think, at the time that they took the satellite picture. So I wonder then how old this is. I wonder if anybody's ever lived here. It was built in 2020, so my guess is that nobody has ever lived here, which totally makes sense to me. All right, shall we read the description? Introducing the Castle on the Hill, a newly completed hillside masterpiece that is located in a private corner section of Upper Canyon Silverleaf. This 12,617 square foot estate captures both city views of the valley, see, I told you they call it the valley, and has breathtaking views of the mountain terrain surrounding it. The Castle on the Hill was created using only the highest level of luxury materials craftsmanship and the expertise of world-renowned master developers, Fratantoni. Nothing has done as good for the Italians as their architects, right? They're artists. The Renaissance has been boosting Italian builders in America for some time now. The main home consists of 5 bedrooms and 6.5 bathrooms and has a separate detached guest home with 2 bedrooms and 2 full bathrooms with kitchen. This is actually a common thing in Arizona. They call them casitas. Calling it a guest house sounds a little bit blue collar. Casita is the white collar name for guest house and is used frequently in Arizona. So you have a completely separate living quarters. That's a casita. And this has a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom with kitchen casita. You're getting 2 houses for the price of 1. So if your parents' frontal lobes are deteriorating, buy this house, you get the main house, you throw them in the 2 bedrooms and hire a servant, maybe to live in there with them so you don't have to actually interact with them. This is the front view, and what I can say is you are getting pretty views of the valley, and there's going to be mountains all around that you'll be able to see, but also just driving up to your home every day is going to make you feel like a king because you're up on the side of this, the side of the mountain going into the canyon. So they nailed it. Great lot. And they've actually done a really good job of leveling it out and using as much space as they possibly could for the home. It's really, really nice, actually. So this is pretty intense stonework. And this right here is enough to make this a $22 million home. If you've got this much stonework on the whole thing, that's incredible. In Arizona, it's mostly... houses are built really cheap there in general because you don't need a lot of insulation. It doesn't get cold in the wintertime. And they can use really cheap materials. So the fact that they actually did do all of this brick stonework is very valuable in a state where most things are just stuccoed. I like circular driveways. I think it's, again, for rich people, like to be able to pull up and maybe have like a valet or something. So what do you drive up here and you can either park in front. Maybe are there garages here? No. All the garages are back here, right? It's kind of a weird like open front concept. I feel like this is a lot of space that you would never really use unless you were entertaining, though, which would be a little bit frustrating. And you have such a long driveway leading up to it anyway that you don't really need this. I would have liked to have seen them make this a more usable space. But also, you want to have a low open area so that when you look out the windows, you can see the valley well. So I get it. I like the blue shutters, actually, are very tasteful, and they go really well with the color scheme they got here. And you can see they actually put in blue stones. So they have an accent color on the outside of the house. And that is amazing as well. And just look at this beautiful stairway with all of these lights built into it. It's like walking up a museum steps. This landscaping, I guess if you have $22 million, not a big deal. But this is a lot of bushes. Me and mine are more cactus inclined. I don't think my mom has a single bush or tree in our entire yard because it's just annoying to maintain. Things fall and you got to pick it out of rocks because there's no grass. So it's better to go with straight up cactus. and just fill in the whole area with different types of cactus. Bushes, I guess if you have somebody else maintaining them, aren't such a big deal. Wow. Okay, this is great. So is this must be the back of the side of the house? This is incredible. This is a beautiful pool. So this is like an infinity pool that drips over the edge. And they've got all of this wonderful outside space. In Arizona, it's a dry heat. It gets really hot, but you can sit outside all day in the summertime when it's 120 degrees out, as long as you have a little bit of shade, because it's not an annoying heat. You never like feel like you're burning or anything unless you're sitting directly in the sun. You will get dehydrated, so you need to drink water, but you can sit outside in the shade. So it's nice to see that they have this little veranda here, but I don't know. Maybe I guess there's this too. This seemed a little shallow at first, but as I'm looking at it, you could sit under here as well. And this is incredible. This is beautiful. And I really, really do love this blue stonework. And then all of this blue, like, shimmering mosaic tile that they used to do the accent for the pool just completely glues together with the blue brick that they used. Just a wonderfully designed exterior. Let's see if the inside holds up as well. So the pool is facing the front. I was wondering where it was. I don't know how I missed that before. But this is a very sizable patio. And then this, I think, is interesting. It's kind of a cool ad to just make the driveway patterned, although when it cracks, I could imagine that it would be a little bit more obvious with a pattern in there. But I love how there's a pattern consistency with all the patios, and it's not just a plain concrete patio or a brown tile as is common, or brown brick as is common. They actually went with a bold choice in this white tile because it does get rather dusty in Arizona. So that's going to require a bit of cleaning. But, I mean, this is amazing. And all of the variation that they put in the roofs. And what is this, a little balcony or something? We're going to find out. Beautiful. And I said in my last video, it's very important to get a custom front door when you're buying an expensive house. One that curves at the top that people can't pick up at Home Depot. Because your front door is the first impression people have, and it needs to be different than what the po folk like me can afford. And right off the bat, very bright entry. Interesting contrast from outside to inside. A lot of times, the neutral colors in new builds here in Arizona, not here. I'm in North Carolina now, but in Arizona are more yellow or more brown or orange. To kind of match the exterior, and they went with a really bright white here, and I think it suits the home well because it just kind of, I mean, I love natural light, but with a house this big, you need to aid natural light by making the inside bright, with the accents that you put in and the paint that you paint it, and they went with a very white paint that I think actually really, really works. And then all of this, I mean, we can't evaluate the owners based off of this because nobody owns it yet. It's brand new construction. But I absolutely love, what is that? That's marble that's where all of the wood meets so that you don't have any weird patterns. I think that's great. So the wood turns, I don't know how to describe it. It rotates all around this marble. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. Just a random slab of a marble floor. I don't know how to feel about it, actually. The more I look at it, the more I don't like it. Because it kind of just sticks out, but it doesn't really serve a purpose. Maybe if you had a table here, like a central little like table with some flowers on it, something like what they have here, but over here and a little bit bigger, I think you could get away with it, but now I don't like this marble slab. And then these little lights, it's Pinterest, and it's not unique, and it doesn't look that great. I'm going to just say it, although it is the Arizona aesthetic. This chair, can we talk about something less comfortable looking than this chair? Right where you would like your back support, you don't have it because it cuts side to side. That's very strange. And wow, grand room here. These are tall ceilings, like tall ceilings. And look at this, is that a real wood fireplace or is it just very realistic electric or gas fireplace? I don't know. Fireplaces, not common in Arizona. I'm sure you could guess why. But it is a nice addition in a very rich person's home. And I like what they've got going on here in terms of just having a little place where people can come in and congregate and have conversation. I like these cabinets. I love the glass pattern. I don't know what they call those little things, but I love that. I like those in windows too. It makes a building look older because there's an old-timey glass look, but it's definitely worth it because the pattern's so pretty. Elevated take. And wow, another spiral staircase. You can't have a rich home without a spiral staircase. I'm going to start making a checklist for these homes because every one we look at is the exact same. Throw in a baby grand piano. Throw in a spiral staircase. I bet there's a grandfather clock in here too. Should we bet on that? Maybe this house is designed too modern for that. This fixture is amazing, by the way. I always love these like modern chandeliers. Is what I'm going to call them. Modern-esque chandeliers where they've got like just lights hanging, but not like they're asymmetrical. I think that's very compelling, and it hasn't been widely adopted. Like a lot of lights are still symmetrical, so having an asymmetric lighting feature really pulls it into the 21st century. I'm sure that'll become a hallmark in the future. When our style is retro style, it will feature things like that. And this is the dining room. Oh yeah, that'll be on the list too. Does the formal dining room seat at least 10 or 12? But we should probably do 12 because the ones with 10, those are the ones that we kind of stick our nose up at. But 12, that's a rich person's home. And they did it correctly, which I don't believe any of the other homes did, where the heads of the table are different chairs. That's how it is supposed to be because you're supposed to feel elevated above your guests when you own a house like this. But I believe the other ones were all just matching sets of chairs, which means, if I'm a 5-year-old, I might accidentally go sit at the end chair and instead of letting the homeowner sit there because I don't see a special chair. So I support their decision, but that's clearly a designer's choice because there's no homeowner. And this is the coolest wine cellar I've ever seen. They must show us that next. This is the coolest wine cellar I've ever seen. One, because it looks over and out into the dining room, the formal dining room, which means when you have your guests over, you're totally flexing. Like you don't have to go down. Nobody has to take a tour of your house, right? If people scatter and arrive to a party, if you're giving a tour of your 12,000 square foot house to every single person who comes to a party that you're hosting, that could get a little bit draining. And having a wine collection is one of those things that you want to flex. So having it with this huge glass wall right next to your dining room is just one of the best design architectural choices I've ever seen. And it's great. I don't know how many bottles this can hold. I can't remember if it said that, but this is certainly enough. And I would actually use this area here as like a bar not related to wine. I'd put my liquor here, and then I would use all of this for wine. But I'm a little avant-garde, I understand. The barrel doesn't fit here with these two sets of tables, which actually, my mom owns this table. It's in our kitchen in Arizona right now. This table is. So, a little bit of a slice of a $22 million home in our place. That's kind of nice. I like the table. I don't have any opinions on that, but this barrel is out of place. Long hallway. another hallmark of a rich person's home, kind of by necessity. And now I'm seeing the theme where the marble is framed by the hardwood, but it takes you down the entire hallway. And in that vein, I do approve of the marble floor because it makes the hallway seem more regal when you haven't got anything else happening. When we just saw it from the front view and I thought it was just an isolated piece of marble, then I was a little confused. But as a pattern, this makes sense and I approve. These light fixtures are nice. They kind of fit. They're a little bit clunky though. And I love the domed ceilings. This makes me feel like I'm in Sagrada Familia. Wow. Okay. So they got a kitchen with one of the most beautiful ceilings that I have ever seen. This home is so nice. $22 million can get you a lot in Arizona, honestly. This is crazy. I've never seen details like this. I mean, watch it just sink into the ground within 2 years of buying it, right? Or the ceiling falls off or something crazy. But, it almost feels like you're getting a steal here, and I can't believe I'm saying that. So, first of all, they got sunlights up here, but then it's this beautiful patterned brickwork, and you would just, you're like, I feel like you're in a modern Subway that they turned into like a fancy restaurant. And you got an entire little like chef's kitchen here with a double oven, or maybe double oven and a microwave. The thing I love the most is, you guys know I'm passionate about my casual dining, and you guys know I'm passionate about having a far enough ledge off of a bar in your kitchen, if you have a center island, that you can actually put bar stools and sit there. You know I'm passionate about that because I bring it up every possible chance I get. And they did it. They did it in this $22 million home. It's like they built it for me. I'm going to get in line. I'm going to buy this place. I'm buying this house because they have a ledge, and they knew that I wanted the ledge there because nobody wants to sit in their stuffy dining room and eat their Captain Crunch. You want to eat your Captain Crunch in the kitchen when you wake up at 9:30 a.m. because you can afford to wake up at 9:30 a.m. God, what a life. And then just to add, it seems like the lighting setup is great in here because it's the middle of day and it feels very bright in this room, and the overhead lights aren't even on. So, but there's no window. I mean, there's these 2 windows at the back, but in general, this house, it's so well lit. I don't have any complaints so far. I'm actually absolutely enamored with this home. And I like that the wood paneling is diagonal, the wood floor. I mean, they've just got all these textures in here that I want to touch and I want to live in and with. One thing is, storage is kind of a little strange. It's mostly drawers, and I like pantry style shelf better. I don't really like drawers full of food, but that's what you've got here. So I will criticize that. I don't think I would leave the kitchen, which would be bad for a number of reasons. But I'd bring my laptop in here and do it. Although, are there any outlets anywhere? Outlet check. I don't notice any, unless they're like hidden somewhere. So I wouldn't be able to charge my phone in this room. You ever think about that? Huh? You probably didn't. Probably didn't think about that. Yeah, I mean, beautiful Wolf oven and range with the flat top. And they've got the water pot specific, like water filler. Like, this is separate than your sink. Like, you can just fill a pot with water right on the stove. Now, you don't have to be this rich to have it, but you do have to be rich. And wow, imagine having that view from your kitchen. That's beautiful. That's the McDowell Mountain Range right there, and that's absolutely gorgeous. And thank you for watching part 1, guys. Part 2 should be posted almost immediately after part 1, so go ahead and look for that. And we'll finish walking through the entire estate, and then I'll give more of my thoughts on it. But I appreciate you sticking out the whole time. And if you have any recommendations for homes I should look at, tell me in the comments below. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more like it.